Hello, LinkedIn, Twitch, Facebook, YouTube, and of course, Periscope. My name is Frank Lavinia, and you can check me out at these following fine sites on the internet: franksworld.com, datadriven.tv, and impactquantum.com. Alternatively, you can also follow me on Twitter and Instagram, and even Peloton at Frank Diggs Data. All right, while I adjust my volume so I don't blow out everybody's eardrums, and I make my post-production process that much easier, just wanted to give a quick shout out to my co-hosts who will be working with me tomorrow on, let's see if I can maximize this thing. There we go. And I will hide the chat. These folks are going to be with me tomorrow. I will be speaking at a table talk session at build.com. And let me narrow this down. This is what happens, folks. You do these impromptu live streams and you think, I want to do this. And so it takes me a minute to set up. I will be presenting Are the Bots Taking Over tomorrow at a table talk at 3 p.m. Eastern to 3:30. And we're basically going to talk about what bots are going to do in terms of customer service and how this is going to impact future the future of customer service. And what does this mean? And with me will be Prashant, Veronica, and Tim. You may know Prashant and Tim for organizing the Azure Data Fest in the Reston area. Although as we've gotten virtual, it's become more of a global type event. I have my first comment from Joel. Is that background real? Yes, that background is very real. And I don't work for NASA, although that would be very cool. Let me move this. Okay. That background is very real. And that background is indeed very real. That's the machine I use to do a lot of my video editing because you have different monitors and stuff like that. I've actually found it counterproductive for coding, oddly enough. Most of my coding I do either on this rig with the two monitors stacked on top, or the one that's in the background, the far edge of the background, where I have kind of a couple of things that are two portrait displays and a landscape display in the middle. So hopefully that answers your questions. Thank you, Andy. My brother from another mother, Andy Leonard. Yeah, so I am super excited to announce that I'll be speaking basically on the topic of bots and what they mean for customer service. So definitely stop on by. Let's see if I can paste this here in the thing. All right, I have a question from Data Trek. How is Andy doing? It's been a while since I've seen you together. Yeah, so we've both been busy. I have a new job at Electrify, and I left Microsoft. Although, as you can see, since I'm speaking at Build 2021, haven't really left that far from the ranch. Andy's doing a lot of interesting stuff. Maybe that's a cue, Andy, that the two of us should be doing more live streams together. I know we've definitely had some fun with that. But so for me, all I really have to say is definitely sign up for this. I can paste this. Let's see what I can do here. If you go, let's see if I can, will that work? If you go to Anachu_Achu, here it is. It's aka.ms/mybuild/con03d8. You can check it out. You can sign up. Tell them Frank sent you. I don't know what that'll get you, but it definitely makes me feel better. But you can definitely check it out. I'm excited. We have three great industry um, people here, plus myself. But we're gonna have a great discussion. And thank you, Data Track. I appreciate that. I appreciate that. Thanks for signing up. I'm looking forward to it. I think it's a great thing that they're doing because having these table talks and these kind of these virtual events, a lot of that in-person kind of vibe gets lost in translation. But uh, with the advent of kind of these little table talks, if you ever been to Build or Tech Ed or any of these big conferences, you know they always have these big areas, um, and whatnot. So I see the comments coming in. That's pretty funny, Andy. But I'll share that on the screen. It's just great. It's just great for replicating this. So Andy says that he doesn't run in Frank's news circles. He's not a Build speaker. Just kidding. Yeah, yeah. Andy and I actually talk by instant message or whatever very often. So it's just a matter of, when can he stream and I can stream. My new role has me kind of busy. I'm now part of a startup organization, so things are a little more hectic and less predictable, but I'm loving it. We're definitely doing some interesting things at Electrify. Look for me to appear Thursday on a live stream for Electrify. I'm now the host of the show that we do there called This Week in Applied AI, and I am working on what the topic is going to be for Thursday. See, on that call, I do come up with a topic ahead of time. But Andy, Andy, just saying, I can send you a link and you can join us now and we can make Data Trek happy. So you just let me know. Let me copy that out. And if you got a minute, that's cool. If you don't, that's cool too. I'm going to stick around for another moment. And see if you can join. If you can't join, that's fine. But definitely check it out. We're going to have a great conversation. Prashant's an excellent speaker. Tim is obviously an excellent speaker. Veronica, I've seen a couple of her posts and stuff like that. I haven't seen her speak, so I'm sure she's an excellent speaker. I think Tim's still at Microsoft. I know Tim's still at Microsoft. Prashant and Veronica are both AI MVPs. And, well, I don't have my AI MVP. Awesome. At least not yet. Awesome. I see Andy. Let's get him on the screen. How's it going, Andy?
Hey, it's going good, brother. How you doing?
I'm doing all right. So I by popular demand.
Well, at least Data Track. He's pretty popular, I think.
He's a pretty popular guy.
I think so.
He's in Maryland, I think.
Yeah.
So
very cool.
So yeah, I think I mentioned this to you that I'm speaking tomorrow at Build, and it's not really like I say I'm speaking at Build, like
Yeah, that's awesome, Frank. I think you mentioned it to me a couple weeks ago, and I am like proud to know you. It's like I know somebody who's speaking at Build.
That's cool. That's cool. It's funny is that getting a speaking slot at Build, because Build is the developer conference. Usually you have to be on an engineering team. Usually you have to be an engineering team. With COVID and stuff, the chaos is upside down. But so I think by leaving Microsoft, my chances of speaking at Build have actually gone up.
Interesting. I knew that you had turned in your notice, and I don't know if it was before you left or when they picked you for that. But that to me, I'm kind of an outsider. I was shocked. I was like, I would think that's like Frank's he's persona non grata. We're not letting him speak at anything because he's quitting. And just the opposite.
They're pretty cool like that. Prashant was the one who actually organized this because he basically he basically reached out to Tim and I because we're on a short email chain because we organize a lot of the data fests and stuff all together, and he basically set this up. So I'd like to say they were like, Frank, we know you're going. I wish that were the case, but that's not. Prashant, I owe this all to Prashant. He basically said, hey Tim, do you want to do this? Hey Veronica, do you want to do this? They're both two AI MVPs.
Okay.
I would be honored if I were to become an MVP again. Um, I still have
Nice.
my license plate from when I was a tablet PC MVP.
I remember
So
those days. In
those were
fact,
the
I think you
days.
nominated me to be an
I think I
MVP. I think
did.
that's how I became one to start with.
I put in a good
And
word,
so,
Andy.
thank you. So I owe you a nomination, is the way I see
There
it.
you go. There you go. So Data Trek apparently is still watching, and apparently he's happy. Not only that you're on the live stream with me, but he loves your new book.
Oh, thanks. Thank you so much. It's going to be interesting to see. We don't get numbers on stuff like that until later, later
Mhm.
in the year. So, yeah, it'll be interesting to see how things have gone with the book. We love working together. Frank, we're not faking anything here. Frank is my brother
That's
from
true.
another mother, and we joke a lot and we have a great time. I always describe Frank as the one with the accent.
The one with the accent. Here's another license plate. There you go.
There we go. And we have Frank and I. We met, gosh, in November of 2005
Yep.
at a user group in Richmond, and we've been hanging ever since then and doing stuff. So it's been neat. It was actually me and Frank and one other guy who is a friend of both of us, Nick Harris. He was actually on the show, one of the early shows
Mm-hmm.
at Data Driven. Nick is awesome. Yeah, he's saying scary smart. I don't know if you know this, Frank. He just finished his MBA.
I knew he was. I guess yeah, because he was in the MVP. Was it Harvard or MIT?
At MIT, the Sloan
MIT.
MBA program there. He finished up to work. I think he officially graduates like in a week or two. But
Right. He's
yeah,
kind of a
what
big
a
deal now.
yeah, it's like we know somebody, somebody who's done that. And
That's
Nick's
awesome.
just a great guy. He
He's a good
really
guy.
is. And we three have been hanging out for what 15 and a half years now.
Yeah,
We just
something like that. It's crazy
crazy.
how
It
time
doesn't seem like
flies.
that long. I know
And
it.
Andy was in my wedding, which the anniversary is. My wife and I are going to go out this week to celebrate our anniversary.
Nice.
So
I remember. In fact, it showed up on my timeline. I think it was Facebook. I saw some
Mhm.
pictures come up when they do that memories thing, and there
Oh
we were hanging out.
yeah.
That was pre-braid. Those
That was
pictures.
pre-braid. I don't remember. You had the mustache. I don't remember the goatee, but I have to look at the
I
picture. I
did.
think you
Yeah, I
did.
had, so
Yeah,
it looked like this
no,
back
that's right.
then, and there was less
Real time
gray.
Photoshop, Andy. Real time
That's
Photoshop.
you know me in graphics, Frank. We don't get along,
There you go.
but yeah, it was a great time. It was a beautiful day. I remember that,
That
and
was a good day.
everything I think went really well.
It was nice.
So
Like I remember, like it's hard to believe it's been that long ago. It's like 13 years.
wow, Frank,
Yeah,
congrats!
crazy, right? Baker's dozen.
Very nice. Very,
And
and you've got the two children now,
yep,
and all the dogs.
all
How
the
many dogs?
dogs.
Now I know dogs come and go because you do that dog rescue thing. By the way,
Right.
Frank is a saint when it comes to like animal rescue.
Probably
I know
only
mostly dogs.
probably only in that aspect, but yeah, but thank you.
He does a lot of cool work. Frank does. So it just not just with technology and stuff. So he's a great guy, and I'm honored to call you my friend, brother.
Well, thank you, man. I appreciate that. I appreciate that. So thank you, Data Trek,
Yeah.
for the congratulations. Yeah, we have 5 canine permanent residents. And I don't know how many been through the house through the years, probably about a dozen or so extra other
Yeah.
dogs. So
I remember
yeah.
that one. There was one I think it was a couple 3 months ago, and I remember because I think we talked when you were on the road. You'd found a place for the dog.
Oh,
A
I
home.
forgot about that one. Yeah.
Yeah, and you were driving. It was like an hour or two away at least.
Right.
And
There was
yeah.
a pit bull in Baltimore.
Oh wow.
And that usually is a tragedy, just waiting to happen. So we managed to. She was in a bad situation, so we got her, and we didn't know anything about her. We didn't know how she'd do with other dogs because pit bulls have a bad reputation. It's mostly unwarranted,
Yeah.
but this, they tend to be very stubborn, very strong dogs, and it was just like, and I have a mix of my own. So I'm like, let's keep her segmented because she was a very sweet dog, but we don't know, like she was also very strong.
Yeah,
And like once she had her mind set to doing something, it would have taken a lot of effort. So we just kept her separate, and we actually got her a new home. She's happy.
that's awesome.
She's the only dog there, so
That
she's
is so cool.
yeah. So that ended well. That was an interesting evening, to say the least. But so with that, I mean, like I there is an episode. I've been in back-to-back meetings today. So like there is one more podcast in the queue, which I'm
Yeah,
hoping to launch tonight or tomorrow morning. That's going to be an interesting one. This is an interesting one, Andy, because I very rarely, well, there's really no profanity in this, but we do talk about a very sensitive topic, which is about child trafficking and child abuse
yes.
materials and things like that. So one of the things is like, okay, one of the commitments you and I made
Mhm.
is we wanted people to be comfortable playing this podcast in their car. So we've been avoiding profanity
Right, with their
in
kids.
the podcast with their kids. Yeah, sorry, I
Yeah,
missed
yeah.
that part.
That's okay.
Um, so we so with this one we're gonna have to put like a content warning, which even though we don't
Yeah,
use anything, this is not something I'd want my kids to be around hearing. Even though he's doing good work, he's doing the Lord's
yeah,
work in
yeah.
this space.
Very,
Uh,
very cool what they're doing, and
right,
it was a great show. But I totally agree with you. We need to warn parents, especially because and people who may be around others who are sensitive to those sorts of
right,
topics. It's important to let folks know kind of up front because we've never done a show where we talk about a topic like that as intense
right.
as that, and
It
we
was a
want
good
to
interview. It was a good interview.
phenomenal
I
and a
mean, great
great
guest,
like
except for the fact he doesn't like the Yankees. But here's another thing.
we're gonna
Here's
have to
another.
start doing baseball because I'm a Braves fan.
There we go.
There we go. Look there.
More.
Uh-huh.
So if you're watching and you're like, why does he have all these signs? The reason is because so my home office is underneath the kitchen, and we had some electrical work done in the kitchen. So um, the ceiling had to be ripped down where these signs were hanging. So it's not like it's almost. I didn't plan that. It was just like hey. So and then while
They're
we're
cool
sharing them,
signs.
here's one I have from Halloween that I thought was pretty funny. I was like,
Trespassers will be used. Is it as science experiments? Is that
yeah.
That is so
And
funny.
I want to modify it so it's like used for data science experiments, but I suspect that that's Facebook's business model. So, boom. Um, but this is great. I haven't done a live stream in a while, at least on my personal one. I did the one last week for This Week in Applied AI for Electrify,
Okay.
which was cool because it was about kind of one of the things I'm doing is I have a lot more responsibility than I anticipated, which is cool.
Yeah.
That's a topic for another show, perhaps. But one of the interesting things is I've been working with a developer working for me to build out demos, right? And the first demo we did, because he actually comes from a SSRS or SQL Server Reporting Services background,
Yeah. Wow. Okay.
and I was like, he goes, I'm like, how's your Power BI? And he goes, well, I haven't really used it. And I was like, all right, well, here's a link to the Guys in the Cube
Right.
YouTube channel, and you come from SSRS. This is not going to be a massive lift and shift for you. Like,
It's true. I mean, there's definitely some huge differences there.
right.
In fact, Frank, you left Microsoft to go to Electrify. I
Mm-hmm.
left full-time independent consulting to go part-time with that, but I took a full-time gig in March with Gainwell. And one of our team members is in the exact same boat, very familiar with SSRS and now doing some Power BI stuff. So there's some subtle differences in it that I've done a little SSRS and a little Power BI. And I remember the thing that tripped me up the most was Power BI doesn't auto refresh. Um, that was something you could configure in
Oh, that's right.
SSRS. So yeah, so I would be doing things like I would put on a report, and this actually happened to a teammate. I'd put a date, kind of to let people know this is the data from this date and time, just as a kind of a flag, kind of waving the latency flag and saying,
Mhm.
if this refreshes once a day, then you're looking at potentially 23-hour-old data. And with
Mm.
SSRS, you could configure that to behave differently. And there's workarounds. I mean, like for everything, right? There's
Right, 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 right,
workarounds,
right.
and we quickly found one and got it in for that. But that tripped me up
Interesting.
too early on. Yeah,
So he actually put together a really cool dashboard in
nice,
like less than a week for. So I was like, I also sent him the resources to dashboard in a day, which I
nice.
actually taught that class,
Okay,
which is pretty funny. I might, if there's enough demand, I may do it on a live stream. That would be cool.
okay. Yeah, I
Hmm.
think I know you knock it out of the park, Frank,
Well, thank
and
you, thank
it
you.
might be worth it might be worth putting up. It is a day, so maybe
Right.
break it into like hour-long chunks or something in that
That is a
neighborhood.
good idea because like there's like 4 or 5 modules or whatever, and
Yeah.
what's cool is you can just do a search on your face. Well, I can say Google now without like the implant like going off and shutting me down. But you can use your search engine of choice and check out just do a search for dashboard in a day, and then it's all
Nice.
like a free download and
Yeah.
you can set up for the free stuff from Power BI and stuff like that. But I mean, like, so the next one is going to be we're going to see if we can integrate our models with Excel,
Okay.
and
Nice.
then the third one's probably going to be QuickSight, which is Amazon's offering equivalent to Power BI.
Okay.
So, and then maybe Tableau. But again,
Yeah.
we're a startup; we have limited resources, so we'll see. So definitely more of that. So the thing I wanted to talk about was build is this week, or actually I think it starts
Yeah.
tomorrow. And it
Yeah.
feels so weird, like a second virtual build, you know?
Yeah. I think they
Um,
made the right call. I mean,
oh,
it's
absolutely.
it's
Absolutely.
definitely it's definitely a weirding season for conferences.
Right.
Um, and I totally stole that from Frank Herbert. But that's my Frank Herbert adjective of the day. But
That the author of Dune, right? Is that
yes, yes,
okay?
yeah, all those books are they're pretty cool. I read all of them back when I was a younger man. I keep saying when I was a younger man, like that's because that's very easy to get under my age these days. It just is. So, but yeah, it was. It's definitely still there, and I see the past summit. There's talk about that over at
Hmm.
Redgate. They've taken that over, and the call for speakers, I think, is either open or coming open. I saw a note about that earlier today. In fact, Data Platform Summit. They're virtual again this year in
Interesting.
India,
There's a
and
couple of
yeah,
good call for speakers that I actually have to respond to. It's just been kind of chaotic because
yeah,
on the upside is that because that's my office ceiling had to be like ripped down, not only do I have the signs for an impromptu kind of joke or two. I'm actually gonna. There's a number of stuff we're working on for what we're calling Project Ringgate that I want
yep,
to. Ultimately, you and I are both gonna have to record more stuff, and that's all I'm gonna say.
yeah,
Um,
yeah. We do.
but
Verbing weird language. That's funny.
I'm gonna set up a permanent green screen, kind of basically right behind this rig, and then set up a
Okay,
camera and stuff like that, and make it look a little
nice.
more professional and stuff like that.
Yeah,
um, use some of my After Effects skills and things like that. We have a comment from LinkedIn user
it's Bob Salmon.
Bob. I owe Bob an email. Speaking of Project Ring Gang,
Yes, yeah.
verbing weirds language. Yes, yes, indeed, yes, indeed, sir. Yes, indeed. I was gonna say, where did that come in from? Facebook or LinkedIn? I was like, oh
It
yeah,
is
LinkedIn
LinkedIn.
user.
Yeah, and he's got a
It's
link
been
there to Go Comics. I like that.
awesome, awesome.
That's funny.
It's been that kind of Monday. Like, where unknown link user, where did that come in from? Oh yeah, LinkedIn. it's been it's been that kind of day. He's been
I'm
that kind of
sorry,
day.
Frank.
No, that's all right. Well, the funny thing is that yes, please. Yes, I will send that out. I'm sorry. My blog is still down because it's a victim of its own success. And here's the thing, right? It's WordPress, and WordPress is the content management system we, not the content system we deserve. It's the content system we need. And basically, so I'm on a hosting plan with SiteGround, pretty good company, no complaints. Although the site has become a victim of its own success. And what happens is that it used to be, on the 25th of the month, I'd get, you've exceeded your CPU seconds, so now we're throttling you, right?
Oh,
And first I was mad, and I was like, but wait, this is a cool new problem to have.
it's
Now
true.
and then on the 8th of one month it came in. I'm like, yes. And then I discovered that beyond being throttled, they just plain shut your site down, right? Which in February happened on the 27th. Not really a big deal in February, right? So this month I knew I was in trouble when I got the, hey, you've hit your thing on like the 2nd of the month. I'm like, oh
Wow.
crap. So this happened
Yes.
last month too, and they were pretty cool about undoing it. And basically there's a whole thing I have to go through and kind of start playing with the settings of like what's the SQL, MySQL, right?
Okay.
And there's a whole list of things that they gave me to try to do, because apparently what it's doing is that for some reason it's not making efficient queries, and it's basically spinning it. And there's all sorts of things I need to do. A month and a half ago, I had a similar problem, and I paid them to optimize the site when that fixed it. And then, so it's just like this constant tug of war. And so this is going to be the first month in like almost 2 years that I did not hit 100 posts or less. But it is just really like I got a lot of other things going on, whether that's trying to get Project Ringgate launched. And
That ain't right, Bob. That ain't right.
It's true though. It's true though. Well, funny you mentioned that. Since that happened, I have multiple backups. Now there might be like
Yes.
some, which reminds me, I know what I'm doing after this. Taking yet another backup, and I'm putting it on Box. I'm putting it on Google Drive, and of course OneDrive, and then copying it into multiple places on my hard drive.
Yeah.
But
So I put my box folder inside of my Dropbox folder.
interesting.
I keep
So it's like
keep the writing in
Inception.
there. It's kind of
Inception.
yeah. They back, but you know what I was thinking while you were saying it? I should drop Dropbox into OneDrive.
There you go.
Then Box would be in Dropbox and OneDrive. It's redundancy.
And then it's is that what scene is that where they were skiing? They were the ski lodge or something like that. I'm
Yeah,
trying to think of the
that's it.
Inception movie.
Yes. Great movie.
The Rick and Morty version's pretty funny too.
I haven't
I don't
seen
know
the
if you've
Rick.
seen that one. That was pretty funny because they kind of rip it off and like they make fun of it, and they're like, there's a guy who's like Freddy Krueger, but they don't call him that. They call him Scary Terry, and they're like, and then they turn to the cameras like, we don't want to get sued, basically.
That's it. Russian doll backups. That's it. What are they?
Russian dolls.
I'm going to get the word wrong.
Matryoshkas.
Matryoshka.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay.
Here's
I hate those words wrong.
Here's an interesting thing. So Matryoshka means mother. It's not exactly mother, but the root word in Indo-European would be mother, mata. That's
Okay.
Your language, useless language fact of the day.
There we go.
Matryoshka and all. Of course, there's a Wikipedia article on it. That's awesome.
Yeah.
But thanks, Bob, for listening. Thanks, Data Trek, for suggesting Andy join. I pinged him. I was like, dude, if you want to come on, here's the link. But
I was just sitting here doing
I
was doing a bunch of deployments to a framework. I posted on LinkedIn earlier about this framework. I'm back in a very similar position with the same team I worked with at Unisys. And I was kind of hired at Unisys to do, to build a framework. They were moving from Informatica, which apparently included at a substantial cost, I might add, something like a framework, something that would manage metadata and configurations and execution of groups functionality. And I had built one, back, actually I probably built 2 or 3 versions of it, back in the day, and it's not an uncommon problem to have. You want to be able to say, go run that thing, and it doesn't matter if it's 3 packages or 300, it'll go execute them in some order. So I'm back, and they're still using the same old framework. So, they hadn't really changed much to it. They added a few things to it. And usually when I look at code that's like 6 months old, I'm going, who wrote this crap? But this code is like 13 years old, 12 and a half, 13 years old. And I couldn't remember this one piece. I know it's going to sound crazy. It's like I wrote it, but I couldn't remember all of the pieces to move it. I remembered what it did. I just didn't remember how to make it do it. And so I was talking to one of the people who took my place when I left, and he said, "This is how you do it." And we've got an article on our wiki, and he just walked right through it. And I was like, "Oh, that's awesome!" And it all came back to me. And after I set it up and had it going, I looked at it and went, "That's really cool." Who wrote this?
I love it. I love it. I love it.
But yeah, fun group, and it's neat to work with the getting the old band back together again. They're
cool
great.
You can do that, yeah. That's
yeah,
cool.
And Gamewell's actually a pretty cool place to work. They're actually hiring if you you want to do SSIS, ETL. They've got jobs across the board for data engineering. They're doing everything. Yeah.
Cool. Speaking of hiring, Electrify is hiring.
There you go.
I'm a hiring manager now, so you could work for me.
Awesome.
And you can hold on. I need to tell Alexa not to talk to me. My wife just sent an announcement, which probably means I need to go upstairs. Yeah, we're looking for technical solution architects.
Nice.
Hit me up on any of these platforms. We got an interesting product that we're in solution that we're doing in AI, and it's definitely a good time to be in AI and data. That's for sure.
Definitely, yeah. So
with that, probably got to end the show because it's time for me to leave. But thanks for tuning in, everyone, and thanks Bob, thanks DataTrek, and thanks Joel, and anyone who's commented. We always try to respond to the comments either live, and I thank Bob. I don't remember. I need more coffee. I thank Bob first. Thank you, Bob, and I do owe you an email. Sorry it's just been crazy in Frank's world. It's bad when the site is down and I haven't done anything about it for a couple of days.
You're busy. Crazy. That's a clue.
So you can actually go back in time and see how many posts I've had, and see when I was busy versus kind of not. Although the automation system kind of ruined that metric. So
it really did, because you got fast all of a sudden. You were doing 100 and 150 a month. It was just and that's where you've been.
The record was 225.
Wow.
But that was when I was unemployed and did not have as much automation. So 150 is pretty good.
Yeah, 150 is great. Thanks for letting me be on the show, and thanks DataTrek for suggesting it.
Awesome. Bob feels thanked. Well, consider yourself thanked, sir. All right. Awesome talking to you as always, Andy. And everyone out there, you have a great day.